welcome back to the shop. Welcome back to Worth Guitars. It's good to see you guys again. So, in the never-ending saga of the acoustic guitar build, the Ramirez build, back on that today for a little bit. I worked on it some this weekend, trying to squeeze it in, trying to get caught up on other orders. You know, just busy trying to get it done, but you know, this is where we're at. We started to, I shouldn't say we, I started to cut the inlay that goes on the end inside there. It's a piece of maple that covers that joint, and it's not only does it make it look kind of cool because it follows this maple, this flame maple up and over the top, but it also reinforces the joint where the two pieces come together. So that's a good thing. Then I started thinking about it, and I realized that I may have gotten slightly out of order on my pieces and how they cut in together. I should have done the binding first, cut the binding with the router first, and then come back and done this, because now the router is going to want to fall into this little groove that I've already cut, and it's probably very difficult for you to see it right on the end of the guitar right here. This obviously is a router guide. Well, it may not be obvious to everyone, but this is a router guide so that I can cut that accurately. Let me get this set up on this tool here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Hold on a second. So I have this very cool suction system, vacuum system. And it allows you to place your guitar body on there like that, and the vacuum seals it and it won't fall off. And it holds it surprisingly firm and strong. It's pulling right at 15 HGs, which is pretty heavy duty. You can see it's locked on there pretty well. So this allows you to work on it, sand on it, do the things you have to do to your guitar without trying to wrestle it around and get it all scratched up. You know, because it's easy to scratch it up. All right, so this router jig allows me to cut using this little router with a bushing, a 3/8 bushing, and a 1/4-inch router bit. I can just run down through here, and very accurately, the bushing keeps me from getting out of whack, and it'll very accurately cut for this piece of maple right here that I need to glue in right there. But here's the thing. Let me show you what the thing is. Hold on a second. On the binding, let's talk about the binding for a minute. If you look very closely at this, you'll see, if I don't get it all out of focus, the black, white, black stripe on the edge of the binding. Now this binding will go all the way around the top and all the way around the bottom of the acoustic guitar. This edge down. So that maple veneer is going to butt into it on the end of the guitar like so. Right? So traditionally what would happen is you would miter the black, white, black back down the side of this and back around the other side of the guitar. I don't think I planned carefully enough ahead, and I started going with getting this piece in when I should have been going with getting these pieces routed in first, and then I could route the end cap, and then I'd have room to do all the things I needed to do without the router dropping down in the cut for the binding. If any of that makes any sense, I think I may have made it way more complicated than it actually is. Just trying to be as accurate as possible with my description, right? Okay. So, but what I also need to do is I need to make some black-white binding. So I'm going to do that today by taking some black veneer and some white veneer and gluing that together to make black, white, black binding. Or kerfing strip. Not kerfing strip, purfling strip. Something to that effect, I believe it is. All right? So we'll cut these pieces, and then I'll just clamp it in between something, and we'll be good to go. Before I get set up for that though, let me show you the Weaver base Remember me talking to you about the Weaver base and doing the inlay? We did the last video we vacuumed in the inlay piece. Well, this is the result of that. That inlay piece is very accurately inlaid, as you can see looking down through there, into this guitar. Pay no attention to that piece that's broken off because this gets cut back anyway. So it's not a defect. All that gets trimmed up. And if you look on the end of this guitar, you'll see that the whole thing goes like that. It's hard to see because of the weird shape. But the whole guitar has a radius across the top. So it's thinner here than it is in the center, right? So that makes for a very comfortable, lightweight, very strong bass. We have the belly cut in it. Of course, we've got the control cavity already on there. And so now we just need to do a few more things to this. Drill a hole for the controls and all of that, and make a neck. And then the Weaver bass, which is a new model for us. Steve Weaver was goofing around with some designs, and he thought, he really liked the, what's the name of that bass? The Thunderbird style. And he plays a Roscoe also that's similar to that. And so we took that design and said, well, why don't we just goof around with that a little bit and try to make it a little different? And so he came up with the idea for this, more of the Explorer, in quotes, setup. And so we came up with this, and I think it's beautiful. We got a 6-string version of this coming out as well. It's going to be a great little guitar. Looking forward to that one. I look forward to all of them, obviously, but I'm a guitar player. I can't play these things with the big strings on them. I can barely play the ones with the little strings. All right, so let me get set up, make some veneer, kerfing strip, purfling strip. What I really need to do is find out what the proper name for it is before I try to describe it to somebody. I'll be right back, hold on. What I'm gonna do is, this piece of veneer is almost thick enough to fill that in so that I can route across it without having a weird dip when the router goes across. If I add a piece of the brown tape, binding tape, it fits almost perfectly. It gives me just the exact thickness that I need. That's what I'm gonna do. I'll get you a little closer so you can see what I'm doing. So I've already got a piece of tape in there, the brown tape. It fits perfectly down in there. So now all I have to do is just temporarily glue a piece of this veneer down in there, and then I can run the router across it. You'll see it better when I take this back off. Matter of fact, I might as well just take it off. Before I move it though, I'm going to make myself a little registration mark on here somewhere. Awesome. I can get it like that. Okay, now you can see the groove I cut, right? So what we've got to do is fill that in temporarily so that my router doesn't drop down in like that as it comes across. You don't want that. These two pieces of tape and this piece of veneer are almost perfect, and I think it's going to work great. So that's what I'm going to do. Just going to cut that there like that. Sometimes you get out of order. You got to stay in order. I'm not out of order. You're out of order. This whole cord is out of order. All right, so I'm just going to take these two pieces here and use them to help me temporarily glue this piece down with some CA glue. Like that. A couple little drops right here. This will hold this in place well enough for me to remove it and give me the clearance for my router bed that I need to go across right there. Okay? I think that's going to work really well. It's almost perfect thickness. Maybe even one more piece of the brown tape. And that's going to give me the thickness that I need for the router bearing to travel across. The router bearing, that piece, has to travel across here. Alright? So we don't want it to be a weird transition right there. It's still a little thin right there. Maybe one more piece of tape. One more piece. Get me up to the perfect height across here. It only has to be there for a second, just so I can run the router across it. And we're good. And take all that back out. So sometimes when you make a mistake, you have to just roll with it. You can't be crushed by the, and it's not even really a mistake. It's just a little out of order. It would have worked. Whatever I did, it would have worked out. But why not try to get back in the right order? And that's what I'm going to do right now. I think that'll work great. Okay, see what I did there? So this piece can just travel across there now. No dips. Okay, hold on a second. Let's get the other router set up. Okay guys, we're going to be using the binding cutter that I made. This allows this router, these wheels, and this plastic rub collar on there allow this to ride up and down through whatever little weird changes in the body shape is. So in other words, it can go over the little curve, because like I said before, the body itself has a little dome on it. And this will hold the router square and allow it to rise up a little and drop down a little and keep it square. It won't tilt this way or that way. All right, but the first thing I have to do is I have to find out the right combination of bearings to use with this cutter to make that cut around there. So that's what we're going to do next. And so I got to figure that out. So what we need is a bearing setup that is set up for that thickness right there. Does this mess with y'all's brain when I do this? This looks weird when I do it. 078. But that's how thick this binding is. 078. All right, hold on. Ooh. Let's get this set up. I think it's these two wrenches. Yes, it is. For you guys that use routers, found a really easy way to loosen up the collet. You probably already know this, but put that one on, set it down, take this one. This is on the bench. Take the one that's actually tightening the large nut on the collet and just tap it like that and loosens it right up. You don't have to fight with it. All right. Get that out of there, put this in there. That will go through there. Yes, it will. I've already done that. Tighten this back up. And then, of course, you do the opposite on the way back. You just put a little weight down on it, and you don't have to fight with your router to try to get the bit in and out. Put this back together. There we go. And we're going to have to try to get this set to the right depth. Which I think is right about there. That's it. Okay, here's where we are. Okay, Now this is the only thing that rides on the guitar. This piece of plexiglass that I polished. And so you don't have a whole bunch of stuff riding along on your guitar, and the wheels on the track allow it to lift up and down for any discrepancies in shape on the guitar bottom. Right? Right. All right. Let's try a test piece and see what we do. Okay? Ear protection. We'll try it out on a little piece of walnut here. There we go. Now we got power. Power. So what we're looking for is for this piece to fit into that groove. And it does. You see that? Of course, it would be like this on the guitar. So this is the binding that goes around the guitar. And you see the black, white, black contrast. This is very cool. And I'm going to leave it a little proud, and we'll just sand that down to the proper level. Instead of trying to make that exact, we'll just sand that down good, okay? Let's try one, see how it works. Now, we filled in that little bit of a route right there. It's nearly perfectly filled in. It's just proud of this, which is okay because I can block that down a little with sandpaper. And it seems like it's working great there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and run that around on the back here. And we'll see how we do. All right? Here we go. Woo, that's dusty. Okay, I had to turn on the overhead. It's very dusty. So this is what we just did. You see that? That is for the binding, which goes there. Hold on, I'm trying to hold it and show you the same time. Maybe if I put a piece of tape on it. There you go. Hold on, let me put some tape on it. Man, that rosewood is nasty smelling. This Indian rosewood smells like the elephant enclosure at the zoo. Strong. Okay. So that's what it'll look like on the edge. Right? Binding. And this is what it'll look like on the top. Of course, this won't be there. Right? So you have this nice binding that accents the rosewood all the way around. And what I want to do is, right here, I want to pick up that black-white strip and return it down the center here on either side of this maple inlay that you will see soon. You gotta wait till it dries first. And now we can tape this in, tape it and glue it. And I think we're in good shape, man. Feels like we're in good shape. This stuff bends really well. You can see it bends right down around in there. And that's going to work out really well. Okay, that's where we are. I think I'm going to leave it there for now, so I can get the other stuff cut. And I don't want these videos to be too long because I don't want you to lose attention span. Right, because this one's probably about 20-25 minutes. That's a little much. So thanks for watching. Thanks so much for subscribing. Thank you, 168 mighty subscribers. One of these days I'll have a contest or something, man, and try to give away something cool to reward you guys. I do have some stickers and things like that. You know, maybe if you drop me an email, I'll send you a sticker, okay? That'd be kind of cool. You can rock a Worth Guitar sticker around town, wherever you live. Okay? For you people who don't live in the area, if you live in the area, you're welcome to come by and get one anytime. Okay? So look, we'll see you guys around somewhere out there. Please be kind to each other, okay? In this crazy world, let's just try to be kind to each other once in a while, you know, instead of everybody being so uptight. All right. Go out and see some bands and be kind to each other. We love you. Peace. Worth Guitars. Bye now. See you later. I got to get to work. Get out of here. See you. Bye.